What if I told you that your mind, yes, the one you're trapped inside right now, is inventing most of your suffering? Not the world, not other people, but your thoughts about them. Seneca, one of the wisest Stoic philosophers who ever lived, saw this pattern nearly 2,000 years ago. A Roman statesman who faced exile, constant political threat, and even death, yet walked through it all with unshakable calm. He wasn't some cold, distant thinker. He was you, a man overwhelmed by life, crushed under expectations, and prone to the same kind of obsessive, looping thoughts that keep you awake at night. And yet, he figured it out. He discovered a way to step outside the chaos of the mind and walk through life with clarity and peace. In this video, we're going to uncover how Seneca's teachings can help you stop overthinking right now. Not tomorrow, not after another 10 self-help videos. Right now, his wisdom isn't just ancient philosophy. It's a real, practical cure for the kind of silent anxiety that eats you alive in the modern world. If you've ever felt paralyzed by your own thoughts, questioned every decision, or imagined worst-case scenarios that never came true, this is for you. Stick with me. What you'll hear in the next few minutes might just free your mind in a way nothing else has. Let's begin. First, the invisible cage of overthinking. Let's start with something brutally honest. Overthinking is not a quirk. It's a prison. You don't see the bars, but they're there, built from hesitation, self-doubt, imagined outcomes, and fears that replay in high definition. You've probably experienced it before. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about that one conversation you had 5 days ago, or obsessing over what might happen next week. The mind spirals, builds stories, creates villains, disasters, and failures, all in silence, all behind your eyes. Seneca had a name for this: suffering more in imagination than in reality. He observed that most people aren't crushed by events themselves, but by their interpretations, their mental rehearsals of disaster, their resistance to what is. Imagine two people lose a job. One says, "I'll never recover. This proves I'm worthless." The other says, "This is hard, but maybe it's the opening to something better." Same event, two radically different emotional outcomes. Seneca would say, the difference is not in the world, but in the mind. You see, the Stoics believe that your emotions aren't reactions, they're judgments. And judgments can be questioned, rewired, and even rejected. Think about how often you've convinced yourself something bad will happen, and then it never does. Think about how many hours you've wasted planning for a problem that never arrived. That's overthinking. It's like paying interest on a debt you don't owe. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." That's not just a clever quote, it's a mirror. Because the moment you recognize this, you realize something powerful. You're not trapped by life. You're trapped by your interpretation of life. Now ask yourself, how many hours have you already lost to scenarios that only existed in your head? And more importantly, how much peace could you gain if you stopped playing that endless mental chess game? In the Stoic view, peace isn't found in controlling the outside world. It's found in mastering your mind's reaction to it. Seneca didn't say don't think. He said think better. Think rationally. Think presently. Train your thoughts to be tools, not weapons against yourself. And that starts by recognizing when your mind is lying to you. In the next section, we'll explore how you can begin dismantling the habits that feed overthinking, using Seneca's practical Stoic tools. Tools you can start using today. Second, Seneca's mind armor. The philosophy behind calm. Seneca didn't preach from an ivory tower. He lived during times of political chaos, personal loss, and constant threat. He was exiled, betrayed, and eventually ordered to take his own life. Yet even with death staring him in the face, he wrote about peace, about clarity, about calm. So, how did he do it? What was the foundation of his unshakable mindset? It starts with this Stoic cornerstone. It's not things that upset us, it's our judgment about things. That quote, originally from Epictetus, was deeply embraced by Seneca too. And it's more than philosophy, it's a psychological blueprint. If overthinking is the storm, judgment is the wind behind it. Change the wind, and you calm the storm. Seneca believed we are not disturbed by events, but by our internal dialogue about those events. The mind loves to exaggerate, to dramatize, to replay. Seneca would call that noise, background chatter of an undisciplined mind. And what did he recommend? Silencing it by reason. That means questioning your thoughts like a wise friend, not a passive victim. Are you certain that person hates you? Is it really true that everything is falling apart? What evidence do you actually have? This isn't positive thinking. It's rational discipline. Big difference. Overthinking often arises from fear. Fear of the future, fear of judgment, fear of failure. Seneca tackled that head-on. He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. Imagine a man afraid of dying, who spends 50 years worrying about death, only to eventually die anyway. He didn't just die once. He died every day in his imagination. That's what overthinkers do. So, Seneca built mental armor by practicing what's known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. He would calmly imagine worst-case scenarios, not to scare himself, but to strip them of their emotional power. If you've already looked calmly at the worst that could happen, you're no longer hostage to it. You become prepared, not paranoid, peaceful, not panicked. This is where Stoicism flips the game. Instead of avoiding hard thoughts, it teaches you to face them, rationally, deliberately, and without emotional distortion. When you do that, the monsters in your mind shrink, the future becomes less terrifying, and you stop overthinking because you've taken back control of the narrative. In modern terms, you become your own therapist, your own calming voice, your own philosopher. And the beautiful part, you don't need incense, a retreat, or a 5-step morning routine. You just need a shift in perspective and the courage to challenge your anxious thoughts when they arise. In the next section, we'll walk through a simple, repeatable process from Seneca's letters that can help you stop spiraling thoughts in real time. Not tomorrow, not after years of meditation. Right now, Seneca's 3-step process to disarm overthinking. Seneca wasn't trying to sound wise, he was trying to survive. His letters, especially to Lucilius, were filled with tools, not just theories. And if there's one pattern that emerges from his writings, it's this: Stoic peace isn't accidental, it's intentional. It's something you train, like a muscle. Let's break down a simple, powerful 3-step process that Seneca subtly used again and again to shut down mental spirals before they consumed him. Step 1. Name the fear. Don't run from it. Most overthinking begins with a vague sense of dread. Something bad might happen, but we can't quite define it. That's exactly where anxiety breeds. Seneca's first move was to drag those undefined fears into the light. He'd ask, "What exactly am I afraid of? Is it rejection, embarrassment, failure, loneliness?" When you name the fear, you stop giving it space to roam. It becomes something specific, not a cloud hanging over your head. Seneca would say, "We are often more frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." By naming the fear, you reclaim your logical mind. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. You realize it wasn't a monster, it was just a shadow. Step 2. Question the story. Is it true or just a thought? Seneca trained himself to challenge assumptions. If he had a thought like, "I might lose everything," he wouldn't just accept it. He'd interrogate it. How likely is this? What facts support it? Have I been through worse? What part of this fear is within my control? This is where overthinking starts to lose its grip. Because when you start asking questions, your brain shifts out of panic mode and into analysis. Seneca's calm didn't come from magical thinking. It came from mental clarity. And that clarity always started with asking, is this helping me or harming me? Try it next time your mind spirals. Don't just feel the fear. Get curious about it. Step 3. Reframe the outcome. What if this is a gift? This is where Stoicism becomes something deeper. Seneca had a radical idea. What if setbacks are opportunities? What if the thing you're scared of is actually your path forward? He wrote, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. In other words, anxiety isn't the enemy, it's the training ground. The moment you reframe a challenge as fuel, not fire, the emotional charge weakens. The spiral slows down. This doesn't mean pretending everything is great. It means believing you are strong enough to face what isn't. That shift alone can break the cycle of rumination. Let's bring this down to earth. Imagine you're lying in bed, overthinking a conversation you had earlier. Your brain replays it a dozen times. You wonder what they thought. You imagine they're judging you. You begin to spiral. Now stop. Name the fear. I'm afraid they think less of me now. Question the story. Do I know that for a fact? Did they say anything to suggest it? Could I be projecting my insecurity? Reframe the outcome. Even if I made a mistake, this is a chance to learn, not a death sentence. I'm growing. Suddenly, your mind has something solid to stand on. That's the power of Stoicism. Not removing fear, but robbing it of its fuel. Seneca believed this practice, done consistently, could quiet the mind like still water. And modern psychology? It agrees. This is cognitive behavioral therapy, 2,000 years before the textbooks. In the next section, we'll explore how to build a daily habit around this mindset, so that even when chaos hits, you stay calm, focused, and in control. For the daily Stoic ritual that rewires your mind. Seneca didn't meditate on a mountaintop or chant mantras in silence. His practice was simpler and far more powerful. It was a daily ritual of reflection and review, done quietly at the end of each day. He called it a kind of self-audit, and it was his secret weapon against anxiety. In one of his letters, Seneca writes, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I have done and said." This wasn't just reminiscing, it was strategic. He'd ask, what did I do well today? Where did I let emotion take control? Did I worry about something pointless? How could I respond better tomorrow? This nightly ritual created something rare, self-awareness without self-judgment. He didn't punish himself for being human. He observed his thoughts, his fears, and his missteps as if he were watching someone else. Calmly, rationally, stoically. Here's why this matters. Overthinking thrives in unexamined days. When you don't pause to reflect, your thoughts stack on top of each other like a cluttered desk. That's when anxiety creeps in. That's when your mind becomes a noisy, chaotic loop. But when you review the day, you clear the mental table. You begin to notice patterns, like how you always start spiraling after scrolling social media too long, or how that one person's comment sticks with you hours later. You identify your triggers, and most importantly, you remind yourself that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. This is the daily Stoic habit that rewires your brain. Not instantly, not overnight, but gradually, like water wearing down stone. You become less reactive, less fearful, more deliberate. Try it tonight. No phone, no distractions. Just 5 minutes before bed. Ask, what thoughts did I allow to dominate me today? Did I need to suffer from them? Or was it just my imagination dragging me along? And then ask, what can I let go of now? This small, simple ritual is how you begin to unlearn the habit of overthinking and replace it with something infinitely more powerful: Stoic peace. In the final section, we'll bring it all together and give you one last message from Seneca that might just change how you see your entire life. Let's finish strong. Here's the truth Seneca knew over 2,000 years ago, a truth that still cuts through the noise today. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching them. Anxiety, fear, and mental chaos, they don't make you weak. They make you human. But the Stoics believed that human suffering begins where rational thought ends, and that your peace begins when you reclaim control of your inner dialogue. Seneca's entire philosophy rests on one powerful principle: we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. So the cure isn't magic. It's mindset. It's about pausing before reacting, questioning before believing, reflecting before regretting. In this world of infinite distractions, overthinking has become a disease. But Stoicism offers a timeless antidote. Live with reason. Let go of what you can't control. Anchor yourself in the present. It's not easy, but it's simple. And every day, you get another chance to practice. So tonight, when your mind starts to wander, don't fight it. Just ask yourself, is this thought useful, or is it just noise? And if it's just noise, let it pass. You've got more important things to do with your life than argue with your imagination. Bell, if this message helped calm your mind even a little, subscribe. We make videos like this for thinkers, deep feelers, and those who want to live wiser. And share this with someone who's been stuck in their own head lately. You might give them the peace they've been searching for.